Welcome back to my channel. I'll start this video by using a clip where an attractive young woman is, in my opinion, just deranged.
Everyone deserves companionship, but you have to date a girl in your price range.
What's your expectation?
Being reasonable, like every other week, like a dinner date, frequent vacations, princess treatment. I'm not too hard to deal with.
Well, I'm glad she's reasonable, and I guess if you are in the dating stage and go out to dinner every other week, that's okay, unless she expects 5-star restaurants all the time. But frequent vacations? That's starting to sound like a problem, which may be hard to deal with in spite of her denial. And how does your boyfriend work a good paying job and have time for frequent vacations? By the way, I have no problem with a woman wanting princess treatment. I know a lot of men do, but if she also treats her man like a king, I'm fine with it. It's all a matter of balance. But let's see how she gets more specific. If you are standing up, I suggest you take a seat.
The activities that I like to do probably cost like anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a month for a man to upkeep.
5 to 10,000 a month? Just to put some perspective on it, the average annual salary in the US is under $75,000 before taxes. Even $5,000 a month for this woman, which would be after taxes, would be $60,000 a year, which is probably more than the average take-home pay would be in a year. And the $10,000 monthly figure would be double that. I found data that said 38% of households in the US make at least $120,000. But the percent of individuals would obviously be much lower. Yet she declares she's reasonable and not hard to deal with. Makes me wonder what she would consider unreasonable and hard to deal with. But it gets better.
If that's what's expected of the guy, what's expected of you?
Oh, I don't know. I never I don't know.
This is a very consistent problem I see from feminist women. As many have pointed out, including other women, girls are taught all their lives how special they are and what they should expect from a man. Men are also taught how they should treat a woman, but almost no one is teaching women how they should treat a man. And we know that anytime a man specifies anything, most women will trash him, all while listing what they expect from men. It's almost like hypocrisy is their very best thing. However, the really scary thing is this girl hasn't even put a moment's thought into it. Too many women are oblivious to the basics. This attitude of women hurts a lot of them in the long run, as explained by this clip.
You have the vast majority of women are chasing after the top percentage of men. And so women will start to think, oh, well, because I can get sex from this guy and he's this attractive, I must be his female equivalent because I can sleep with him, which is absolutely not true at all. That's why it's very important that women have an accurate self-assessment of their own physical attractiveness.
You simply can't have the vast majority of women chasing the same small percentage of so-called high-value men. Sure, you may have some really fun dates with rich men who see you as a temporary bedmate, but each of those men will only be able to marry one woman. Men may be happy to have sex with any woman that is remotely attractive because men love variety. These women don't seem to realize they have to find just a good average man. But now the woman is older and less attractive, and many of the good men are already married by then. And many of these good men aren't going to be interested in women who have such a past. But no problem, because these women in their 30s and 40s will literally declare they are just as attractive or more so than they were in their 20s. And all their girlfriends will agree with them. But not the men, which is kind of what matters, being the opposite sex and all. But isn't it cool that when reality hits them, they can still blame men for not accepting them, rather than their own attitudes and behavior? Followers of my channel know I object to publicly rating women with a bad number. But that doesn't mean I can't tell when someone is completely in denial. I've seen many women who, for example, post a new picture of themselves on Facebook, and a bunch of her friends will make comments like, beautiful. But some of those pictures could be used in a horror movie. Oh, I'd never say that to any individual, and I have no problem if someone has different preferences. but they just get ridiculous with their adjectives. And I've often seen panels of women, some who are very attractive, and some who are very obese and otherwise very ordinary looking at best. That's fine, but it's ridiculous when they're asked to rate each other and they label themselves and all the others as being a 10. Everyone can't be a 10, because if that were so, the number would have no meaning. One of their justifications when pressed on the rating is to say they are confident and accept themselves as they are, and that makes them a 10. No. Rating someone's appearance has very little to do with your personal confidence. I'm quite satisfied with what I am, but I know darn well I'm not a very handsome guy. I'm fine with that, but acceptance of what I am doesn't make me suddenly a 10. Let me move on to a completely different topic, though still about relationships. One of the problems men have in marriage after the kids start arriving is that women find it easy to just focus on the kids, not giving much thought to the husband at all. A woman named Sadia Khan speaks on this. I don't agree with everything she says, but as I understand it, while she has a psychology degree, she isn't a psychiatrist. But I do think there may be some validity to this.
When they naturally have kids and all of these things, they are designed to just focus on the children. It's how we're designed biologically. We have the hormones, we have the obsession, we get so much oxytocin from just kissing that child. What happens then is she doesn't even see her husband anymore. So he comes into his home and almost feels like a stranger in his own home. But she can't switch off. He'll go for dinner with his wife and she's thinking about the baby. Slowly that husband feels more and more neglected. And what happens then is, because it's so weird to say to your wife, why are you always with the baby? Can you give me a kiss instead? It's such a weird conversation to have. So what they end up doing is seeking that attention elsewhere.
It is, in many ways, a good thing for women to have this as a genetic trait, but it is also a problem. Think of it like a man who is dangerous, thus able to protect you, and one who is dangerous and just beats people up for no reason. So women need to be aware of this genetic predisposition in advance and put some thought into it, realizing that to treat her husband well, she'll need to make a conscious effort to not go too far with her natural tendencies. And that brings us to another issue in relationships, that is leadership. As regulars know, I'm firmly on the side that eventually someone has to have the final say, and I think it is usually best if it is the man. If you don't think a man is worthy enough for his woman to willingly submit to that authority, maybe she needs to find a better man. This clip makes an interesting point, which I also think has some truth to it.
Leadership is important, and the reason why leadership is important is because if he doesn't lead, she already has to lead when it comes to kids and all these other things. They emotionally can't relax. Every time they're thinking the baby's crying, the baby's hungry, there's this, that, and the other. So the emotional exhaustion in a woman is so draining. Now, when she has a husband that she also has to babysit because he doesn't know where to go, he doesn't know what we're doing, he doesn't know how to make decisions, she feels like she's raising everybody and she starts to disrespect him.
I thought this was an interesting take on leadership. While I agree the man should have the final say in things, the woman is still leading in many important areas. As has been said in my other videos, it is a woman that makes a house into a home. I think the problem is that too many women foolishly don't think that's important enough, even though it is the most important thing in the world. The idea that a woman wants to submit to her employer, but not her husband, always seemed to reflect a strange sense of priority. One more clip. This one putting relationships in a pretty good perspective.
A lot of women require a man to take care of their financial needs, but they cannot meet a man's needs, and his needs are actually free. He wants you to give him a lot of love, respect, loyalty, affection, attention, appreciation, take some accountability, know how to say I'm sorry, listen to him whenever he speaks, and to provide a safe space for him. And you can't meet any of these free requirements that actually just take a little bit extra time and attention from you, but you expect for him to provide for you financially in every way possible.
If you think about it, this is a nice bookend combined with the first clips, where a woman expected her boyfriend to spend $60,000 to $120,000 a year to deserve her, but couldn't think of a single thing she should be expected to do to deserve the man. Thanks for watching, and don't let the trolls stop you from speaking out.